tonight, eh? Good. Come on, you.
Welcome back to 57.5. You've tuned in just in time for our weekly broadcast, Speak No Evil, hosted as always by Sarcasm the Sickness. Unwind from the daily grind and enjoy.
Hello, lovely people of the airwaves. My name is Sarcasm the Sickness, and I thank you for once again joining me for 57.5's Monday broadcast of Speak No Evil. As you already know, this show is nothing without your avid support, and besides tuning into the segment, a huge way you can support Speak No Evil is to submit your questions to our Ask.fm app at ask.fm/speaknoevilradio. And with that, let's get right to our 5 questions for the week. First question is, what is some advice for going to high school as a freshman? I do want to start off by saying that is an extremely broad topic, and one that's a little hard to comment on. In all honesty, the biggest thing you should be worrying about are your studies, and maybe some after-school activities. If you're thinking about going to college, or even if you aren't, just make sure that you concentrate on your academics and possibly throw in some sports or clubs or something like that into the mix. Make yourself look good on a college application. Take foreign language classes, because those seem to be required to get into college. I have to assume you mean more social advice, however, because if you ask your parents or your teachers the same thing, they'll tell you exactly what I just told you. Now, as a freshman, the biggest thing to remember is that you are not the big fish in the pond anymore. You are a tiny fish in an ocean, and you don't mean anything to those bigger than you. They'll snap you up before you even know what hit you. The seniors have been dragging their feet through the school for 4 or more years to get to where they are now, and they just want to get the heck out. So please don't try to start any stuff with them. You're beneath their notice if you're going to act immature. On that same note, don't really worry about what the upperclassmen think of you. Who cares? The ones who don't try to get to know you personally will always see you as a little fish, and there's nothing you can or should do about it. Just let it go. You'll be there someday, but not until after you've worked for it. It's the same as coming into a new job. The people who have been there for years have no real reason to treat you as an equal until you've proved yourself. The only difference is your seniors will be gone in a year as opposed to your coworkers who may stay even longer than you do at that job. Essentially, who cares what these hotheads think about you? If they aren't going to give you the chance to see who you really are, then they're not worth trying to prove it to. People in high school can be vicious. So choose your company. If you've had some bad friends in middle school, this is the perfect chance to get away from them. That's what I did. We just naturally drifted apart, and I was so thankful for that. Don't be afraid to make new friends, though. If you had great middle school friends, then hopefully you stay friends. And if not, then you have to understand that everything and everyone changes. You can't stop it because you'll be changing too. So be open to change and open to new things. The most important thing to note is that all these little social issues that happen in high school are irrelevant. It doesn't matter. Trust me. Things will feel like the end of the world at first, but it literally doesn't matter after high school is over. Most of your friends that you make will be off to college or military or somewhere where you'll probably never see them again. Most relationships will fail shortly after high school is over. Your jerk teachers don't matter, the bullies don't matter unless you let them matter, and the only thing that will matter after you're done and graduated is, well, if you graduated, what your grades were, if you're going to college. And I do suggest that you go through school as if you're going to college, so that if you do decide to, you haven't spent the last 4 years making sure that you never have that chance. And maybe the sports or clubs you're in, because that matters for both college and job applications. So don't be afraid to join one and just see how you like it. Things like, any sports. You've got marching band, you've got debate club, you've got chess club, any of that. Oh, yearbook club, that's a big one. A lot of people like being in yearbook club. Any of that can make such a huge difference on a college or job application, because the biggest thing it says is that you are willing to go above and beyond. you didn't just sit in school and just do the bare minimum and, and just kind of like glide through. You didn't just sit back and let the world pass you by. You decided, you know what? I want to do something extra. I want to contribute a little bit more. I want to put a little bit more on my shoulders, and, and that means so much to colleges and to jobs, because jobs want to know that you're not going to just sit there and go like, okay, well, the manager told me to do this, so I'm just going to do that. They want to know that if the manager tells you to do something, you're going to do it, for one, and then two, you say, it looks like, this area is a little messy. Let me just clean it up. I know the manager may not have told me to, but, it's the right thing to do. It's messy, and we don't want the place looking messy, whatever it is. It's always good to make yourself look better that way. It's always good to have something extra to say, yes, I want to do more, and I want to do more well. It might really seem like I'm being harsh about some of these things, about like the seniors not caring about you, or, your friends not wanting to be your friends anymore, but it's really something that you wouldn't understand until you get there, or until you get out of high school. These things really don't matter, and right now, like I said, it is going to feel like the end of the world. It's going to feel like everything's falling apart around you, and how could this possibly get any better? But it will. If you push on through and you graduate, or, if you end up dropping out and getting a GED, once you get out into the real world, you're going to realize how much none of this mattered. It's gonna become so apparent so quickly. So, just don't sweat it. Just live your life and you'll be fine. And we're gonna move on to our second question, which is, my ex-girlfriend and I have been broken up for about 2.5 months, and I'm still sad about her leaving me. I've tried talking to my friends, and I've tried talking to my school counselor, and although this made me feel better, I'm still really sad about it. It doesn't help that we go to the same school. Do you think I should try talking to her? Am I pathetic for thinking this? Especially when we haven't been together for nearly 3 whole months? I don't understand what to do. Thanks, Sarcasm. It's appreciated. The Xyrophobia. I would not say that you're pathetic for thinking this, but I would also advise you not to. Unless she seems like she's still interested in you, there's really no reason to go and get your heart broken again. I don't know the terms of your breakup, but if she left you, then she has a reason for it. Even if it's a stupid reason, it's not likely that she'll be changing her mind. Unless, as I said, she's expressing interest in you again. I feel like it would be best for you to focus on something else. Like a hobby, a sport, a part-time job, something that you're doing all by yourself that has nothing to do with her. You'll have plenty of time to find the perfect girl, and chances are that she's not it. And maybe, even if she is, maybe you're meant to meet again later in life when you're both older and more mature. Maybe you're not right for each other now, but you will be later. Or, more likely, you'll meet someone else, and you'll forget completely about this other girl, and, this new girl will seem like she was always only the ever lady to ever exist in your life. The biggest problem with trying to talk to her again is this. The relationship was ended on her terms, not yours. So if it is ever going to start back up again, it's going to have to be on her terms. And if you were the one who left her and changed your mind, then it would be a different story. But since it seems like she was the one who broke ties with you, then it's her decision to go back on that. You're better off trying to forget about her. Like I said, it's, taking up like a personal project, a hobby, an occupation, a sport, a club, something else. Or maybe you can try going out on dates with other girls. Give yourself a chance to see who else is out there. Dating can seem kind of like a weird concept after you've been in a relationship, but sometimes the idea of just one nice night out with someone can be somewhat freeing. No true commitment, just sort of a trial run. As a final note, I don't think 3 whole months is even that long to begin to wonder if she's changed her mind. 3 months is not very long at all. It would be far too soon to try checking in on her if she hasn't already given you the impression that she's still interested. So please, do yourself a favor and spare yourself the heartbreak. There will be someone else out there for you. You just have to be patient and try to focus on yourself for now. Find out what you like and who you want to be without someone else. The only other thing I might say is that I've been broken up with a lot, and there are times when I've tried to, win his heart back kind of thing, and honestly, it always ended up bad. There was one time, I went to talk to the guy again, and he said he had changed his mind, and then, on the way home, I'm literally walking home after this conversation where he said that he wanted to be with me again, only to have him literally text me and say, "I'm sorry, that was a mistake. We should stay broken up." Like, it's just not gonna be worth it. The only other time where I actually was able to make the guy go back out with me, it ended up that he only went back out with me because I was so desperate, and it was fun for him to just play with my emotions and mess with me. So, honestly, I worry about that. I really do worry about what would happen even if you guys do get back together. Like, on these kinds of terms, on the terms that you come crawling back to her, begging her to take you back. Just, please, just do yourself the favor and just be careful and take care of yourself. You are so important, and how you feel matters so, how you take care of yourself matters so much, and it's gonna hurt right now, and I'm sure it's maybe gonna hurt for a little bit longer, but eventually the pain will numb, and then after it numbs, you'll start to feel better. You really will. So, good luck. And I'm sorry, because I'm sure that's really not what you wanted to hear. And then we're going to move on to question 3 that says, "Dear Sarcasm, I'm getting really close to college, and I've never really been good at interacting with people. I don't have friends going to the same college as me, and I'm really worried about making new friends. I'm not too great at it. What are some tips for making new friends and meeting new people? The awkward Prinplup." Now, I went to college having no friends going with me, and it was scary, especially since at that time I was leaving a boyfriend behind as well. Not to mention, my whole family and everybody I ever knew and loved. But I do want to say that you will be surprised at how easy it is to make new friends. We had an orientation day at the university I went to, and I made 3 really wonderful friends pretty much immediately. It happened so smoothly, I don't even remember what happened, really. I think we met at the cafeteria, but I could be mistaken. I also made a friend the first day in my art class, and he was a really cool guy, and we had lots of fun together for the short time I attended classes. Honestly, it's just something that happens naturally. Don't be nervous about talking to new people. Most of the people going to college are the ones interested in graduating. A smaller margin are those whose parents are forcing them. And I think you'll find it easy to tell the difference between those 2 types of people. Those who actually want to those who actually want to graduate and get a career in their field of study are usually not the type of people who would be so cruel to someone they don't know. And this isn't always true, but I've only really met one person at college who was unnecessarily mean to me for no reason. But she was nice to the other people around me, so I really don't even know what her problem was with me, but whatever. It's not like I had to be friends with her, and the only times I had to be around her were for marching band events, so it was really no big deal. As I've said, friendships happen naturally, but it always starts as one of these people, communicating to the other. And it could be something as simple as complimenting someone on their Pokemon shirt. And trust me, there are going to be some Pokemon fans at your college. It's impossible, okay? It's impossible to not have people who enjoy Pokemon at your college, trust me. Or, just like exchanging looks with a classmate while your professor tries to intimidate you on your first day. Don't be afraid to stop someone and say, "Hey, I like your shirt," or "Do you know how to get to this class?" Because sometimes just a simple remark or a question or a compliment can be the start of something great. You could find out that you have a lot in common with that person. And if you don't, no harm, no foul. At least you tried, and, at least you had a nice conversation with them. The other thing is joining clubs, a fraternity, a sport, or a musical group, and that'll put you in a situation surrounded by people with at least one thing in common with you to start off with. Most of the people I met in marching band were fantastic, and I adored my time with them. And if I had joined track like I really intended to, but I missed the sign-up day, I bet I would have made at least one friend or gained a casual running mate. I think you're thinking about this way too hard. There's no formula to friendship, it just happens, and maybe you'll meet your roommate and you'll really like them. Actually, that reminds me. Sometimes dorms have little events and group activities. I remember mine had a manhunt night, and it was fantastic and hilariously fun. Another time they held a scavenger hunt. Try to get involved with those things. You could end up being on the same team as your new best friend. So, good luck. Our 4th question is, the guy I think I love lives far away from me, but I'll be moving there for college. We dated in the summer for about 2 months, but we couldn't handle the distance. People said that he didn't share the same feelings as me if he couldn't make it work with the distance. We want to try again when I move. Should we? Let me start my answer with a story. My middle sister dated a guy for the last couple months of his high school career, him being a year older than her. He wasn't planning on going to college, but he did join the military and had to do his training far away. They decided it would be best to end their relationship. Long distance wasn't going to work for either of them, and it wasn't fair to keep the other one waiting like that. When he came back a year later, she was out of high school and they tried to be just friends, but they soon realized that they still had strong feelings for each other. So they spent a whole wonderful summer together, but then it was time for her to go to college. So they had another decision to make and decided that this time they would do their best to make it work. She was 4 hours away, but whenever either of them had free time, or, one of them was off from school or work, they spent as much time together as possible. And the next year, they moved in together. Now, long distance doesn't work for everyone, and it involves lots of trust and commitment on both parties, and it can be stressful and a huge burden, even if things are going well. So I don't blame either of you for not making it work long distance. It's not easy. Even Pedro and I, for as strong a bond as we have, decided that one of us would have to literally change their whole life so that we could live near each other. Or, as we ended up deciding, with each other. If he's still interested in you, then I see no reason not to. I think it'll be a huge relief to actually be around each other that much. And since you used the word we, it sounds like you've already talked about it. So do I think you should do it? Yes. I think love deserves a second chance. Take what your friends and family have said under advisement, but don't let that govern you. Keep an eye out and make sure the relationship is healthy and happy, but don't shy away from him just because someone else told you to. Especially over something like this. Deciding not to let each other suffer through a long-distance relationship is a mature choice. And what happened during the time you two weren't together doesn't matter because it has nothing to do with you. Like if you dated somebody else, he has no reason to be mad, and vice versa. And if you're both single, and both still interested in each other, and both willing to give this another shot, then you should absolutely do it. And I hope for the best for you two. And we're gonna move on to our final question now. I started a Pokemon channel a couple of months ago, and am finally starting to see some progress. I love doing it, but I feel like it may be starting to affect my mental health. I don't want to leave and lose all my progress, and I genuinely do love doing it. Is there a best of both worlds situation? This question honestly is a little bit startling to me because from a lot of people, I've heard that YouTube actually improved their mental health and self-image, including myself. Having something to be dedicated to and focus on like YouTube gives people structure to their lives. So when you say it's affecting your mental health, I'm kind of wondering how specifically. However, I can see that something that can affect people so positively could also have the power to affect someone so negatively. When a video doesn't render or record or upload properly, it usually results in a bad and stressful day for me. So I can be objective and see it both ways. I suppose the first thing to consider is, are you having fun with doing what you're doing? And what is your favorite part about it? If you love playing Pokemon for the channel, that's great. If you love interacting with your subscribers, then that's also wonderful. And if you love the feeling of accomplishment when you upload a video, that is certainly how you should feel. Figure out what it is you love the most. Then, take some time to think about what is the most stressful thing. Ask yourself the same questions you asked about, what you love the most. Is playing Pokemon for the channel stressful to you? Is it interacting with your subscribers? Is it trying to get a video uploaded or feeling anxious once a video is put out there into the world? When you've decided what your favorite and least favorite things are, then that's when you can decide on a plan. If the problem is playing Pokemon, then maybe you'd be happier being an all-around gamer, or just focusing on a different series. If it's interacting with subscribers, maybe it's best to cut back on replying to comments and tweets. I'm sure they'll understand if you explain that it just causes you a lot of stress. If it's uploading in general, maybe it's best for you to cut down your workload. Maybe only upload 3 times a week instead of every day. Or vice versa, if it makes you nervous that you aren't uploading as frequently, maybe creating a schedule would help you feel more at ease. Whatever it is that you determine to be the problem, just try to adjust that thing so it doesn't interfere with your favorite thing. You wouldn't want to sacrifice the best part of the channel just so that the worst part goes away. Unfortunately, I don't know enough about your situation to give, really specific advice, but hopefully what I said can turn some gears in your head. I know for me, having a set schedule has helped me keep track of things easier, and I know what I need to be prepping for each day. It makes sure that I don't wake up wondering what I'm going to upload for the day. And having a series that I can mass record is also a huge relief. Figure out what your needs are for the channel, and when you can't meet them, don't be so hard on yourself. More often than not, your subs care more about you and your mental health than having a video uploaded on a given day. I have never had someone mad at me for taking a personal day. So do what you need to make sure that the channel doesn't stress you out. YouTube is meant to be something fun and enriching, so let it be that for you. Good luck. Now, ordinarily that would be the last question, but it seems like we have a little bit of time left in this segment, so I do want to continue on with one more bonus question that I've prepped for myself, or for you guys, I'm sorry. So, question number 6 is, Hey Sarsic, I've been dating my girlfriend for a couple of months now. She's super cool. She accepts me and puts an effort for me, and we connect well in all ways imaginable. I really care about her. However, sometimes I see her and I'm not attracted to her physically. Is an emotional connection enough? I have been in a situation like that before, and it's so weird. It's like, you can look at this person one day and see them as the most beautiful and wonderful creature to grace the earth, but other times, it's like you're looking at them without your love glasses on. This is a hard question for me to answer, however, because both relationships where I wasn't always physically attracted to the guy ended up failing, but for unrelated reasons. But they still weren't quite long enough for me to say whether it will work out in the end or not. I know that I always try my best in every relationship, even the ones where my boyfriend wasn't what I would consider, very attractive. So, as long as you do that, and do your best to remember what you do think is beautiful about her, then I think you should be okay. But it obviously brings up complications. When she asks you if you think she's pretty, sometimes you will be able to answer truthfully, and other times you won't. And telling her that you don't think she's physically attractive is pretty much not gonna end well. And that's gonna bore a hole in your chest. You're gonna hate lying to her and pretending that it's okay, and you're gonna have to wonder if you should mention it or not, and it's not going to be easy. So, I guess there are things that you might be able to do. Take this with a grain of salt, of course. You might be able to subtly help her out. If it's a weight problem, and that was the case for one of my exes, maybe you can kindly suggest that you two start going out for walks or work out together for health reasons. And don't put it on her. Say that you need a workout buddy. And if she's not keen on traditional working out, then you may end up finding yourself signing up for Zumba classes or something. If you think she looks better with makeup on, then maybe when you see her doll up in the morning, give her more compliments than usual. It'll be honest, and it'll be positive reinforcement for the behavior. If there's just something that she can't change, maybe it's, the way her chin is, or her eyes, or her nose, then there's nothing you can really do about that. And nothing she can do unless she's really looking to drop a fortune on plastic surgery, and you will both have to live with that. I know a lot of what I said can sound cruel and manipulative, but that's not with ill intention. Positive reinforcement works with a lot of things. Like, when people tell me that they like my art, it makes me want to draw more. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, just maybe a little sneaky. I'm not sure how the "I'm not physically attracted to you" conversation would go, but if it gets to the point where you find you can't get past it anymore, you might need to tell her. I don't know exactly how you would say it or how she would react, but honesty is the best policy, even for bad news like that. So I guess what I'm trying to say for that situation is good luck. And that is going to end our Speak No Evil segment for this week. Thank you all for tuning in, and I hope you'll tune in again next week when I'll answer 5 or maybe 6 more questions. Good night.